Well, I suppose I can always take a few drags before the crowd arrives. What's up, Autumn? Light blue Bic. We got a couple of people in here. How am I? I'm good. I'm good. I am good. And I'm enjoying some characteristically warm weather before the big snowstorm comes in. Got my first debit card today. Whoop whoop. Whoa, Pangloss. Thank you for the $19.99. Holy shit. Thank you so much. That that is so kind of you. I'm glad you got your first debit card. Why is it okay, guess I'm gonna be nosy here, but I feel like I remember your name around for years, so like I don't like it's not age, right? Are you like secretly a child and I just haven't known this whole time? I don't know. When I was 16, getting my first job, working and starting to like build up income and everything. The first thing I wanted to get was my own bank account. And the second thing I wanted to get after that was actually a credit card because a debit card just came with the bank account. But credit did not work out well for me. I'm not very good at it. Thank you for the $19.99, dude. That is so kind of you. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button as you're rolling in, by the way. It really does help, and I really appreciate it. I'm good, though. Yeah, I mean, I had a pretty good day. Like I said, I'm enjoying the characteristically warm weather right before you get a big old snowstorm. It's not like super warm. It's not like muggy or anything, but it's like 49 degrees, if I had to guess, I would say, between 45, 49. I still don't have a credit card. Yeah, I mean, it's not actually that good an idea. I mean, it is kind of, but not at the same time. Like, you should never be reliant on a credit card, is what I have been told. I'm 22, just for the record. Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's not too out of line then. All right, all right. Getting your first debit card at 22 is not that weird. I don't know why, but I thought you were my age or older, actually. Oh, individual. Oh, I got a Merrick situation. Oh, look what the cat dragged in. Festus is the bestest place on earth. Alrighty. That's enough of that. Wait till 55. What's coming at 55? Do I need to be like on the lookout? Do I need to be on the where? You're working on all cinder blocks? Yeah, why is that? You know what's funny about that particular Keenism? Working on all cinder blocks actually transforms the phrase he was trying to say into what inarguably sounds like a negative, right? Working on all cinder blocks? Like, okay, as a person from the trashy ass deep south, I literally hear that sentence and I think of a junky old rust bucket jalopy sitting on a couple of cinder blocks, one under each axle. One under each end of each axle, I guess I should say. You like Trump, right? Yeah, just fucking literally, adore him, want to hug him, want to kiss him. Can't you tell? From the queer pride flag and the pagan symbols and everything. Is the stream laggy for anybody else? The stream is fucking laggy. Ben's across the room and he's fucking laughing at me. It ain't my fault that I'm fat. I was poor as a kid and I have a bad back. Fuck this shit, I don't deserve this. Let me talk to IKEA customer service. Santa called that kid fat. Still can't believe he did that. And Paul's been doing a backwards Hadouken since 1992. Salty Paul, round as a ball. I love that song, dude. I miss Marshall Manson. Why the pride flag, though? Because I like the pretty colors and I'm trans as shit. And queer as fuck, more broadly. Santa did what? Yeah, look it up, man. He called that kid fat. Can't believe it either. I still can't believe he did that. Bro thinks he's a girl? No. Number one, it's she. I know that transphobes think that it's like a giant big win against trans people when you misgender us, but you're actually just misusing the English language. Genders and pronoun, they're all descriptive, right? And this is not a man's shirt. This is not a man's haircut. This is not a man's countenance. So the ontologically and the etymologically correct way to refer to me is with she, her pronouns. Whether you choose to speak English like someone who actually knows how or not is completely up to you. I can't control that. I'm just letting you into that information. You're a Satanist? You fucking Satanist! My biggest flop, say greatest hits. The game's mine again and ain't nothing changed but the luck. So before I slay this bitch, give Jade a kiss. Had a wicked play day to this. Being rich shamed by some prick because I said his name and now I got a cock back aim. Yeah, bitch, pop champagne to this. It's your moment. As big as you're gonna get, so enjoy it. Had to give you a career to destroy it. Sir, you need help. I'm not a sir, and I probably need way less help than you presume. But hi! Welcome to the chat anyway, I guess. There are two genders. Well, good for you. You've assembled you an incorrect position based on an arbitrary social characteristic that you couldn't change if you wanted to. Unfortunately, for people like me who are not burdened by such burdensome chains, we live how we want to and express ourselves openly, and those who don't like it find other things to do. By the way, if you've been enjoying the conversation so far, consider hitting that like button. I really do appreciate it. Helps the channel out massively, costs you nothing, and, there's ultimately no reason to not do it. Even if you hate me, you should want tons of people in here to talk shit on me, right? So come on, help YouTube send more people my way. Facts overpower feelings? Exactly. Which is why transgender people are on the side of science and and the medical community and medical consensus and everything else, and transphobes are squarely on the science of made-up fantasy bullshit from the Bronze Age. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Facts don't care about your feelings, which is why transgender people are real and valid, as described and affirmed by the entire medical community. Scientific consensus says trans people are true and correct. Well, got bad news for the facts don't care about your feelings, people. You know what? I've always thought that was a really stupid phrase, by the way. And, Ben Shapiro's a moron at the best of times, but that's a particularly stupid phrase because facts do care about your feelings. Facts care entirely about feelings. You want an example of that? Next time a big news event happens, just go look at the different coverage. Like, pick 10 different news sources and read 10 different slants. The same facts, the same RSS feed of information, 10 different interpretations, 10 different filters. I'm disgusting. I feed off of your hatred, your vitriol. It refreshes me as blood would a vampire. Can I identify as a cat if you want to? There's not a whole lot of people that are going to take you seriously, but ultimately, what harm does it do to me? The day of judgment will come! Shut up, weird Christian fucker. Get out of here. I'm sorry, I have been proselytized enough in my life. By the way, Pangloss, I don't know if you're still in here, but if you want to hear a couple of songs on the guitar, just let me know. You donated $20, so you have fucking earned 2 songs if you want them played. By the way, content goals, the donation goals for content have rolled over. They have reset. You guys now only have $20 of progress towards them. But if by Friday night we manage to make $100 in this week, we're going to do some old lockout content. Some people that used to follow Brett Keane, hang out around him. If you've ever heard of him, you'll know who that is. And you'll have an idea of the crew that we're talking about. And the other thing we're doing is if we make $200 this week, once again by Friday evening, or by Saturday evening, honestly, but if by an evening on this weekend, really, if we make $200 by then, we're going to be doing a political compass test, and you can finally find out exactly where I land on those bullshit, bogus political tests that very often do not actually describe the full compendium of political thought. But whatever, we're going to do our best. We're going to see where we end up. You can contribute to that goal either by using the Cash App down below or by super chatting. That's enough shilling for 5 minutes. Let's read some comments. That haircut is diabolical. Thanks. It's a real conversation piece. It's a real conversation piece. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm not a priest. I don't know who said I'm a priest, but I'm not. Like the button. Hit the like. Press the button. You know what I'm trying to say. You guys know. Oh, now that we've got some people in here, Greenland is apparently still on the table, but Trump's not going to use force. I don't know if this can be trusted, though. I am of the opinion that Trump is a man of aggregate truth. Trump is a man of aggregate truth, and what that means is that you don't just listen to what Trump says in one instance, right? It's like, for 2 weeks after Trump said, like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing about Israel and Palestine, dude, I wanted to trumpet, no pun intended, that shit for 2 weeks afterwards, because it's the most stern thing any sitting president has said about Israel in decades, right? Literally, the most stern thing that's been said about them in this, like, since the year 2000 at the very least, right? But ultimately, you can't take that as his position on the matter. You have to take all of his other fucking positions into consideration. And when the aggregate is considered, the aggregate of Trump's statements towards Israel, for example, are staunchly anti-Palestine, staunchly in support of Israel. And I think the same principle should be applied to this Greenland situation. The aggregate of Trump's comments about Greenland have been violent rhetoric about taking over Greenland by force. So the fact that he's willing to go to Davos and say, oh, we're not going to take it by force. We would never do that. We don't want to do that. He is lying to the international community in the same exact fashion. Sorry to make the fucking comparison, but in the same exact fashion that the European fascists of the 1930s and 40s did. And I'm not saying that the situation is exactly comparable, because I don't think that the immigrants that are being rounded up right now are actually being gassed yet. But things are getting a little spooky in America, and I think it's high time we talk about it. I think that we need to look at little statements like this and little comings and goings. Like, this is an ongoing battle. If Trump wanted to back off of the Greenland thing, if he really wanted to lower the temperature on this conversation, what he could have done is gone to Davos today and said, you know what? The European community has spoken, and I still think we need to up our defenses and up the exploration that goes on in Greenland. But I am willing to accept that the Kingdom of Denmark will continue to own Greenland until they achieve independence, at which time they will be an independent country. He could have used that as an opportunity to do that. There are literally dozens. Honestly, if Trump just wants those geopolitical goals, there are a number of strategies that could be employed to achieve those without threatening force against Greenland, without us having to own Greenland whatsoever. We don't need to own Greenland to seek permission from Greenland, the Danish government, and then the world, like NATO probably community at large, to build a couple more military bases up there. If we really just wanted to protect the shipping lanes that climate change, interestingly enough, is opening up in the North Pole, we could have easily arranged some kind of deal to do that. No, this is not about the geopolitical goals cited by the Trump administration. This is about a long, long, long trend of imperialist colonialism that America has been getting up to since at least the Mexican-American War. At least. So we're talking about like 175, 100, and almost 200 years now. We're talking about like 150 at least years. Am I mathing correctly? How old is the country this year? It's 250 years, right? Yeah, so I was mathing correctly initially. Yeah, so like 2 centuries ago is around like the first time we really dealt with this imperialistic urge out of America. It hasn't left us since. We've found new and unique ways to justify it and to philosophize it over the years, but this is just another extension of that. Government spending on defense is so crazy already and letting people starve, but we totally need Greenland. I know. I don't understand like the incentive structure here, other than through this lens that I have come to see it in, right? In my mind, this is a continuation of Straussian neoconservatism, which was itself a continuation and really a legitimization, a pretentiifying, if you will, of Monroe Doctrine. Like, Leo Strauss came along, and basically gave like high-minded, elitist, academic, philosophical weight. Oh, fuck, I'm trying to remember some of the other prominent political figures from that era that could be used as like really prominent examples, right? Well, the ideas of Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt was perfectly fine with American imperialism if it advanced American interests, or what he perceived as American interests. And really, Leo Strauss and what he taught his students, the Straussian neoconservatives, which came to dominate the Reagan administration, the first Bush administration, the second Bush administration, the third, and the Trump administrations, now both of them, I believe that all of it is a normalization and a legitimization of policy that had already existed for around 50 years before they started codifying it back in the 30s and 40s. And for the last 100 years, we've just gotten better and better at it. We've found new and unique ways to hide what we're doing behind increasingly less plausible veils. How do you look in the mirror every day and not off yourself? It's easy. I look in the mirror and see a woman, and that is in contrast to my life before I came out as trans, which was when I looked in the mirror and saw a man, or at least someone badly failing at pretending to be one. Now I feel like, okay, I actually look right. All right. Now sometimes I look in the mirror and don't feel that good because like I've had a particularly bad hair day, but at this point in my life, I've really got like probably like an undue amount of self-regard. I'm here for the lecture, Trump University energy. Hell yeah. And the difference is I'm not trying to say that you're getting any credentials from listening to my fat ass talk, you know. I don't tell you that you can go work on a person's heart now because you listen to my fat ass jabber for fucking 20 minutes. Not that Trump U was giving out medical degrees. I'm not saying that. I don't know what Trump's diploma mill was in the business of. The only diploma mill I care about is LaSalle University. What is the flag in the back? Country of gay? I'll give you a better one. The flag in the back belongs to the country of Transylvania. Get it? By the way, hit that like button, you guys. If you've been watching for 22 freaking minutes, just hit it. It's not hard. You are an intelligent person, right? And you can recognize the fact that if you've been watching something for this long, you enjoy the content. If you didn't, you would have been gone away with the thousands of people who have come in and left. But you're not. You're here. At least 150 of you are sticking around. So why haven't you hit the fucking button yet? Why? Because some of you are haters. Others can't be fucked to pick up their phones. Maybe they're washing dishes. Maybe they're asleep. Maybe they're washing dishes while asleep. And you guys are okay. I don't blame you. But for the rest of you, must I beg? Must I beg of thee? 7 more likes! 10 more likes, please! Must I beg? Truly, truly must I beg? I shan't debase myself in that manner. People are just appalled by people like you. Small-minded bigots are, sure, and I like that. I kind of like the fact that I make weak-minded people uncomfortable. Weak, narrow-minded self-interest doesn't impress me. Never has, never will. Being a bigot is the weak pussy position. It takes a fucking ton of strength to stand up for marginalized people. It takes a fucking ton of strength to be a person who gives a fuck about black liberation in Trump's America. It takes a ton of strength to be a person who cares about trans liberation and trans rights in Trump's America. It takes a ton of fucking strength to be a person who cares about leftist values in a country that is increasingly showing a growing tendency towards Nazism. Actually, this isn't a Wendy's. This is my channel, and if you're not enjoying the content, well, I do apologize, but there are plenty of other people operating on YouTube right this second for you to go watch. And if you don't like what you're seeing, I would advise you go find one of them. It's very simple. You can just scroll up. I wish I had some Gehenna. Sir, you are fake trends. I'm reporting you. I feel like people that have never made content online feel like the report button is like the biggest and most scary thing in the world. But I don't think you retards realize that like sites like YouTube know that people abuse the report button. That's why YouTube doesn't have like, like YouTube doesn't have human beings watching the content anymore. They've just got like advanced AI models that scan through shit so that when 10,000, 4chan Nazi chuds mass report some trans woman's content and channel, the best that happens is that it gets age gated because it's like, well, there's really nothing here to ban her over. For me, it's just another day. The stream gets age gated, I cut it down and start a new one. And on we plow, friends. You will not stand in my way. We will not be moved. We will not be moved, just like the trees standing by the water. We will not be moved. Wendy's it probably your favorite place in the world. I swear to God, that 60% of American adults who read at or below a 4th grade level really love to show their ass in my live streams. I don't know why a woman with a literal fucking college reading level has to be so constantly and consistently subjected to sub 4th grade retards that are in their 20s and 30s. That is a tragic failure of the American education system, and I really wouldn't even give a fuck that much if it didn't inconvenience me personally so fucking deeply. Like, whatever. You all want to be morons? Frankly, a lot of the anti-intellectualism has not been bred by a lack of fucking teaching. It's been bred by a lack of parenting. I don't even really blame the public school system for the failure that is y'all's low reading rates. I blame your parents' willingness to sit you in front of a tablet, a phone, a fucking TV, a computer, some odd shit, and let you just waste hours and hours and endless hours. Not playing by yourself or with the animals in the house and the stuff around you and exploring. Not reading, not going outside and looking for bugs under the bark. Playing on a phone. Unable to pay attention in class because there's nothing more boring than a teacher in a world where you've got infinite scrolling. And what does it produce ultimately? It's produced a crop of people functionally incapable of reading. Not all of you. Like I said, it's 60% of American adults that read at or below a 4th grade level. So it's not everybody. I'm part of the relatively small contingent of Americans who can read at a college level or above. Whatever book you throw at me, I will be able to get through it. Give me enough time, There are tons of people like, I'm just going to say it. 6 out of 10 of you, if I sat Howard Zinn's People's History of the United States in front of you, you would be asking me for definitions on the first couple of sentences. As soon as Zinn describes the Arawak Indians as tawny, you would be asking me what the fuck tawny means. It's a color descriptor, by the way. I'm not making it off the first page. Well, at least you know, Frederick Gamer. Like, dude, there are so many people that don't even know, don't even care either. There are people that are proud of it, man. I'm not trying to shame anybody who can't read, and that's by no circumstance of their own, dude. In fact, I would love to help people learn how to read. If there was some way I could do it over YouTube, perfectly good with that. But I actively hate anti-intellectualism. I actively despise people that reject the very value of the idea of learning. I actively despise people who reject the value of reading as a practice. All this knowledge and you're in your grandma's basement. What is your knowledge getting you in life, Lamau? I don't know. 11,000 subs on YouTube and enough super chat money to usually pay my bills pretty good. I don't know. So far, so good, and the growth keeps going. Trump 2028, interesting position there, friend. Let's see what happens when we get a leftist in 2028 and they start looking for a third term. It'll be really funny, right? Because here's what I think is going to happen. I think Trump is going to try and run for a third term, provided he survives this one. Whatever. They're shooting him full of adrenochrome. He's going to make it, okay? So, provided he gets to serve the rest of this term, he will eventually run for a third. Of course. He's going to lose badly. Now, he's probably going to try another coup, but inshallah, the American people will stop him. He won't be afforded that possibility. The machinery of the United States government will once again put an end to his tyrannical reign. But I guarantee you that in the wake of Donald Trump, we are going to have an Obama-like candidate. I think it's not going to be a Democrat. I think it's going to be an independent or a third-party person. I know you think I'm crazy. Nobody likes the Democrats, but people like the Republicans even less. That is, the conditions have never been better for a third party or an independent candidate. I'm not the only person saying it. There are people way, way, way bigger than me putting the same exact message out there. When that happens, they will be a leftist progressive candidate. And if you've already legitimized a president running for a third term, then you guys better get ready for, what would that be? 2032. Get ready for 2036, if that's the way it is. If Trump is actually able to mount an even somewhat legitimate run for a third term, get ready, because whatever leftist replaces him is going to run for a third term. You'll be lucky if Obama doesn't run for a third term at that point. Please stop saying this Trump 2028 garbage, because if it does happen, you guys are going to be pissed. You guys are going to be real mad, because he's not going to win that election, and the fit you guys throw is not going to keep him in power, and then you're going to have a leftist for 8 years, and then you're going to have him for another 8 years, and then if you're really unlucky, you'll have them for another 8 years. Don't do this. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you, MAGA. Don't do this Trump 2028 shit. It's a garbage idea. You are opening yourselves up to another FDR, and you don't even know it. Republicans are unpopular cunts. Nobody likes them except in the wake of a Democratic disappointment. I will repeat that for those in the back. Nobody likes Republicans. Well, no normal person likes Republicans except in the wake of a Democratic defeat. Except in the wake of a Democratic disappointment. So when the Dems disappoint, that's when people all of a sudden start loving the Republicans. But it only takes about 6 months to a year for the rest of the country to remember why the fuck America dislikes Republicans so roundly, why it's just our most rural and backwards areas that tend to elect them, and the president starts to slowly lose support. And once again, people are back to being ready to vote for a Dem. I think this time the wheel's ready to be broken, and we might see an actual independent or a third-party candidate take that place instead. I know I'm ready for it. Are you? You call yourself normal? Yeah. I mean, I was, fucking raised lower class, grew up in the deep south. Never had like a super well-paying job. Yeah, I think I'm pretty normal. I mean, the fact that I'm trans is a unique thing about me, but it's not the only thing about me, I love that, dude. Isn't it great that the two competing narratives around trans people, right? So, if you call yourself normal, if you aren't even talking about the fact that you're trans and shit like that, right? You're just talking about normal shit. You call yourself normal, you're going to have a flood of people pissed at you. Oh my God, what? Holy shit, you're not normal, blah, 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 blah. But if you start making a point about how, well, trans people are such a small percentage of the population, or if you start making an argument about how trans people need specific protections in certain areas, MAGA will start screaming about how you're so small. You're such a little small percentage. What do you even need the representation for? What the fuck? You're such a tiny little. What do you think? You're special? Let's make the chat just a little bit more readable. By the way, if you want to make sure your comment or question gets read or answered, the only way to do that is by sending a super chat. Luck of the draw is is pretty much the way things work as far as the regular chat goes. Like, I'm reading it, but I'm reading it when it suits me. Super chats, though, I'll answer those with the quickness. So if you want to have your question or answer, comment or question fucking read or answered, whatever, you get the fucking thing that I'm trying to say, right? Right. Probably best for it to be on sub only. I mean, it's not like it's some big imposition for people to sub, number one. And number two, it filters out most of the bots and spam accounts and shit. Beings incapable of having a conversation that exist to sow discord. Dead internet theory is real, guys. That's why I'm convinced that's why I don't get more donations than I do, you know? Because one would think, based just purely on probability, that if you looked at my views, I'd probably be getting more. But a lot of that, I'm sure, represents botted traffic. Now, I have no way to verify that, but I don't know. There's patterns in YouTube's user base that make me think that that kind of botting is probably a lot more common than people give it credit for. These people giving you negative comment, negative attention are satisfied. They could be doing anything else with their time. They choose to spit venom and let negativity moderate their brains. Yeah, I 100% agree. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah. You are choosing to let negativity, bitterness, and anger rule your life and determine the nature of a relationship that you're going to have with another human being. You're writing off a friendship or even an association with me merely because I wear the wrong kind of clothes, call myself by a name that you don't think is appropriate? Well, pardon my asking, who the fuck cares? Why should I care what you think about my name? You don't care what I think about your name? Surely to God you don't. If you do, that's kind of stupid. The pendulum will swing, hopefully soon, and empathy and ethics will return. Oh, yeah. The pendulum swings back hardcore to the left, and that's what I'm looking forward to more than anything. I've been keeping that in mind. The fact of it is, whatever Trump tries to do, the machinery of democracy, I still think, will see to it that he is out of office by 2028. Well, I guess it would technically be by 2029, but you get what I mean. I still have enough faith in the systems of democracy for that to be a reality. I could see some scenarios where it doesn't play out that way, but I don't think that that's going to be how it goes down. I think that we're going to have a democratic transition of power in 2028. So I think we need to really be fucking, like, rather than being defeatist like some people are, I think we really need to be thinking about who's going to be our candidate. That strong third party or independent candidate I was talking about. Who should be the third party? I have no idea, but we need to start looking for people. We need to start putting out this message. We need to start having the conversation, because that's how you encourage people to run subtly. I guarantee you there's already some third party and fucking independent people trying to run for president. Hell, Vermin Supreme has tried to run for the last fucking 20 years or some shit. They never let him, you know? But I'd vote for Vermin. I've met Vermin. Vermin is a dope guy. Yeah, I've met Vermin Supreme, yeah. Thoughts on Asmongold? Stay tuned. I'm just a few short years, Phoebe Bridgers will be able to run. Yes, yeah. In just a few short years, yeah. Dude, Phoebe Bridgers would be a dope fucking candidate to vote for. She's all about it. She's lefty as fuck. I would love to have a political conversation with her. Dude, I wonder if I get big enough if she would do it. She does fan outreach stuff like that sometimes. She might. She's pro-trans. Fucking be like, yo, talk to me. Talk to me on my shitty internet show. Let me ask you political questions. You can have hot takes. Unfortunately, there hasn't been an independent that received more than 20% of the votes. Your best bet to swing the pendulum back is a moderate liberal. No, that is not true. Kamala Harris was a moderate liberal, and look at where it got us. Kamala Harris was literally out there fucking saying, we want to be harder on the border than Trump wants to be. Kamala Harris was out there saying, we love the military. We love ICE. We love, like, dude, when asked who our biggest geopolitical enemy was, she didn't say, I don't think America has any major current enemies. I don't think that we should be looking at the world as a battlefield that we need to locate enemies within. That's a very neoconservative mindset, which is what she should have said if she was an actual liberal, or if she was an actual fucking leftist. But she wasn't. She's a fucking moderate lib, which is why she said, well, I think Iran is a pretty good contender. It seems like they might be building up to making nukes. Then when asked on 60 Seconds, the same fucking program, would she commit to military action against Iran or not doing military action against Iran, she said, I have no commentary on that at this time, or something to that effect. I forget exactly how she worded it, but she basically said, like, I mean, I can neither confirm nor deny. Maybe we'll bomb Iran. Maybe. Probably. Maybe. Probably not. What if we do? I don't trust a bitch like that. That's what a moderate liberal is. Kamala Harris lost. Joe Biden was a moderate liberal. Joe Biden lost. Not only did Joe Biden lose, but he sundowned in front of the whole country. No more moderate liberals. No more moderate liberals. Say it with me, chat. No more libs. No more libs. No more fucking libs. This country is not looking for the ancient, cobwebbed ideas of yesteryear. They're looking for a bold vision of change that brings American workers and American families something worth fighting for, something worth talking about, something worth preserving. I'm pretty conservative, but I love your intelligence. Well, thank you, Bebo30615. I appreciate that so much. $5 is very kind, and that is $5 I didn't have before. So, what a lovely gentleman. It's okay that you're conservative. I have lots of fans that are. As it turns out, I think I appeal pretty broadly to a whole bunch of people. And I like to think that that's because I'm super honest about my biases. You know, like I'm very much like, yeah, I'm a social market socialist in the near term, anarcho-syndicalist in the long term, huge hardcore lefty. Don't like Trump. Don't think he's literal Satan. but don't like him. Also didn't like Biden. Also didn't like, you know, Obama, like, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that that makes me kind of relatable. But I don't know. I don't know. Conservatives, sound off. Why do you like me? Because, like, you know, the numbers suggest that I've got a couple of 100,000 people that listen to me like a couple of times a month, a couple of times a week between those two ranges, right? And a lot of you guys aren't subscribed, but a ton of you guys participate in chat. What brings you here? Time after time. I know some of it's the YouTube algorithm, but lots of you would have just blocked the channel by now. I personally don't care where someone stands. My issue is that person isn't willing to have a genuine conversation. Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly willing to have a genuine conversation. It can be kind of hard on this particular platform just because, like, unless someone sends a super chat, I have no way of categorizing their chat away from all the other chats. But yeah, I enjoy that as well. You just look so cute in them glasses. Thanks, Matt. I think I need to get new ones, though, honestly. Although I do want to get new wireframes. I want to get glasses. I want them to be wireframes. But I'm thinking maybe the little round ones or maybe some... I don't know. I don't know what exact shape I want them to be. But I'm going to try on some different ones. I might end up going with one of those, like... Dude, I don't know if Taylor is still in here. Taylor, what style of glasses do you usually have? What are those called? Round ones would be cute, yeah, for sure. You had to alter your body just to be something you're not. That's sad as fuck. You can only ignore the truth for so long. So I still have my penis. I have not had bottom surgery. I have not had sex reassignment surgery. I appreciate the vote of confidence. I appreciate that my high cheekbones and my naturally feminine attitude have convinced you of my complete process through transition. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. But like, honestly, I'm way happier with myself even without having had sex reassignment surgery yet. I'm happier with myself than I was before I came out as trans, even without having been on hormones for years and years at this point. You know what I mean? Now, once I've had those things, I'll be even happier. But I'm pretty happy for now as well, simply by acknowledging a reality about my life that I tried to deny for so many years. Pink for 3805, you are in here so fucking often, and thank you so goddamn much for the $9.99. What a kind soul. What a magical fucking person. You're always in here. You're always being kind. And you just said, Phoebe! So I will say your name. Pink fur! Christian Light. That's just sad, man. Can you not use Christian as the basis of an insult? Can you just call me Peter Griffin or something, please? Like, I don't even give a fuck. Like, whatever. Call me whatever you want, but can we not fucking insult Christian by comparing her to me? Or just, like, using her as the basis of an insult? Can we not? Seriously? If there's a fucking wall count on the internet that deserves your goddamn sympathy, it's fucking Christian. Have a fucking soul. Have a fucking heart. That person literally hasn't had a moment of peace since they were like 19 years old. Shut the fuck up about them and stop using them as the basis of an insult. If everybody donated $9.99, you would have... I know, dude. That's why everybody needs to donate at least that much. Yeah. The mom thing? You mean the mom thing that Christian was goaded into doing by the community of internet trolls that have basically dominated her life since she was like 19 years old? You mean that mom thing? You mean that? You mean the thing of which she was acquitted by a jury of her peers who found no reason, no compelling evidence with which to charge her? You mean that mom thing? You mean the thing that she stayed in jail for 2 years on and then got released with no fucking conviction? You mean that mom thing? Shut up. Stop talking about this person. Stop dragging their life through hell. Stop dragging their life through the mud. Stop using them as the basis of an insult, you terminally online fucking Zoomer. What a piece of dog shit thing to do. What a piece of dog shit person to be. You should be ashamed of yourself. Did your mama raise you right? Fucker. fuck out of here with that bullshit. Calling me fucking Christian like you can use her as the basis of a goddamn insult. Go fuck yourself. Can you explain the Christian thing? If you guys are listening and you want to know more about the Christian thing, I have a video about it on my channel. Literally called, like, what is up with the Christian situation or something like that. It's from right when it happened. You can go watch it. A defense for her privacy stands on its own. She simply deserves us to stop talking about her like it's our business. That's exactly my fucking thing. That's exactly what I'm saying. Thank you. Yeah, Christian should have been helped by the state a long time ago. Long time ago. Sure. Happy birthday, Chad. Why not? Dude, defending Christian is not what's insane. What's insane is thinking that a mentally disabled person having some behavioral outbursts excuses you tormenting them for the rest of your life and for the rest of theirs. You are a bloodthirsty scumfuck, actually, who revels in the destruction of other people's lives. And I really hope that is applied to you one day. I hope that you get to experience a tenth of what Christian has gotten to experience in her life one of these days. You're so flippant with your condemnations of other people. Oh no, I'm gaining context about the Chris Chang. Yeah, dude. I don't want to talk about the fucking Christian thing. I never respond to those comments, but I was just like, fuck it, dude. I'm gonna address it because I'm sick to fucking death of seeing people use her as the basis of an insult. Whatever, dude. People call me Peter Griffin all day long, and it's like, well, whatever. You know, Peter Griffin can fucking stand on his own. More or less. Just barely, right? But Christian, as far as I'm concerned, is a heavily mentally disabled, autistic trans woman that has spent her entire life being fucked with and having her life destroyed or manipulated and goaded by a giant community of internet trolls who excuse it on the basis of personal grievance and on the basis of Christians perceived being a bad person. And they do all of this. They do all of this in stark contrast to the fact that Chris is completely disabled. The fact that Chris clearly has a very, very, very blurry line in their mind between real and fiction. They do all this despite the fact that it's basically the equivalent of bullying a Down syndrome person. And the only reason that they get away with it is because people with autism of Chris's variety are not as obviously mentally ill as someone with Downs. They don't have the lisp necessarily, although Christian does have kind of lisp. Not much of one, but it's there. She's definitely got, like, I as a person who knows mental illness pretty well, recognize her instantly. But a lot of people are able to use the fact that she kind of sounds just like she could just be like a crazy dumb fuck sometimes as a veil to be horribly hateful to this person, that if you actually watch 10 minutes of their content, you'll find out very quickly that there is nothing real in their life, and in a sense, there's nothing fake in their life. And that they really don't have anyone in their life that can help them navigate that. And I just don't see how anyone finds themselves fit, not just to judge that, but to punish it, to punish them for that transgression. The transgression of being a mentally disabled thing, a mentally disabled person who says things that are disagreeable, yes, but ultimately inconsequential. I'm sorry. I will flatly say it. I don't think Christian saying some gross things online way back when means that you can spend the rest of your life, or hers, torturing her. Sorry. I might have to go here in a second. By the way, we are close to that goal. Well, actually, we're not that close, but we're getting closer, is what I should say. We are currently $65 away from taking a look at Von Helton and J-Dubs, some old Brett Keane orbiters from way back in the day. We will do that either on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, if we hit the goal this week. Just depends on what day we hit the goal by. But we are $65 away from that. We're also $165 away from a political compass test where you guys will finally get to see where exactly I land on one of those bogus political compass tests. Phoebe leaving early tonight? Well, I'm not leaving necessarily, but I just might have to step inside for a second. I might not. I'm just letting you guys know. I'm just trying to give you ample warning. So let me get this straight. Because they're mentally disabled, if he hurts someone, he shouldn't be held accountable. I'm not the judge and the justice system of Virginia. I'm not the judge that presided over their case, nor am I the justice system of Virginia. But when his case proceeded through the court system of the state of Virginia, they apparently did not find enough evidence to convict Christine Chandler of the crimes of which they were accused. You can take that to mean whatever it means. What I take it to mean is that there was insufficient evidence to charge them and convict them of the crimes for which they were accused. What's up, Tripacy? Not much, just surrounded by people that want to justify Christian getting fucked on endlessly. I guess because Christian said some misogynistic things and was creepy to a couple of people. By the way, people that were actively sent by the troll community to troll Christian into saying some suggestive shit in 9 out of 10 cases you would look at. Basically talking about how, oh, Christian was a weirdo online, so it's fine to bully them for the rest of their life. It's fine to torture them to death if we can. I'm just talking basically to a bunch of narcissistic ghouls who think that their suffering makes the suffering of other people better. Who thinks that their suffering justifies them watching and making a game and entertainment out of the suffering of other human beings. watching, basically debating a big crowd of people who think that Christian is their opportunity to orchestrate their own personal Jerry Springer show. That's the thing, dude. Chad O'Hara, 98. Do you not get that? Chris didn't have anybody like that in their life. Chris's parents are old as the hills. They might be dead now. I don't even know if they're still alive. I'm pretty sure his dad is dead. Mama Chandler might still be alive. I don't know. But there was no one that knew. There's no family that's ever stepped up to take Chris in. And at this point, you can't really blame anyone who wouldn't want to. Because, like, taking in Christian at this point means taking in all the mishigas that comes with fucking Christian, you know? Like, there's a giant community of people now that are going to be trying to dox you merely because they want to harass Chris. So there's no like state apparatus that can step in on a person like maybe there is, but they don't have, like, frankly, America has this horrible gray area. This horrible gray area for people that are really profoundly mentally ill. If you are profoundly mentally ill enough, there are places for you. If you are just like shit the bed insane, you know, if you are just out of your mind crazy, there are places for you to this day. But if you're not, you might be able to stay at certain places for a few months, a couple of weeks, an inpatient stay of a week or two, but you're not going to be able to live there long term. Nor are there any, as far as I know or can tell, really, reliable, widespread, at-home care and guardianship programs. Because frankly, there are all kinds of people who, in other countries, live on their own, but have their affairs effectively managed by the state or by their closest family. And that's the position Christian should be in. And part of the fucking conditions of their, existence there should be like, internet access is limited, you know? Sorry, it's just how it has to be. Maybe they figured out how to fucking somewhat manage it now. Last thing I heard about Christian was actually not the mom thing. The last thing I heard about Christian was that they were starting to do streams now. That they were like streaming on a major platform somewhere and had like a partner that was like their age but looks like a child, apparently. And that's like proven, by the way. They're not a kid. They just have like one of those diseases that makes you look super young. Probably not actually called a disease. I'm probably really ableist right now. Whatever, I'm a moron. It's to be expected. He should have been hospitalized, that's for certain. That's what I'm saying, Dipper. That's what I'm saying. We need to bring back mental institutions. Yeah, like that's kind of more or less. But honestly, more than mental institutions, we need to bring back at-home care, widely available for anyone who needs it. France has that. They managed to do it. Thanks, Reagan, for cutting mental health care shit. Yeah, thank you, Reagan. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. That's enough, though. Much love from Morro Bay, California. Hey. Much love. Damn. Morro Bay. Sounds cool. Sounds dope. Love from Mississippi. Land of the deep fried lard. Deep fried cheese dipped lard bites. You like Smiling Friends? Sounds familiar, but I don't think so. What's up, Riley? How often do you play? I could play you guys a song. Somebody should donate, though, to grease the wheels. A couple people have already donated. I'll play you guys a song if you really want to hear one. We need a new guy in mental institutions. Yeah, 100%. Big agree. Have you had deep fried Oreos? Yes. I'm not the biggest fan of them, honestly, but I don't like Oreos in their regular form, frankly. The only form of Oreo that I like is when you crush those Oreos up and use them as the basis of a dirt dessert. And I don't know if you guys have ever had a dirt dessert or a dirt cake, but basically you crush up Oreos and shit. You crush them up, fucking fine as you can get them. You use that as the basis of your crust. You can mix a little butter into it too if you want to make it a little better, but you don't have to. And in fact, I think it's better if you don't, because the butter kind of lends a little bit of a saltiness to it. If you do it with unsalted butter, because it doesn't need the extra salt. But anyway, point is, you use that as the fucking, that's a crust, right? And then in the mix, you save some of the Oreos and you use them for the mix. And the mix has got like Cool Whip and cream cheese and vanilla pudding. Yeah. And some of them Oreos in it. And then you have some more crushed up Oreos to sprinkle over the top. Do you get a nice thick layer? It's a really, really decadent dessert, come to think of it. It is a sugar overload if I've ever heard of one. But you know what? Probably my favorite holiday dessert. Holy shit, Tripa's fucking freaking out, dude. We've got people fucking going, yeah, we got people going crazy. The Oreo wars are happening. I just like a fresh, warm, crunchy on the outside, soft and gooey on the inside chocolate chip cookie. Oh my god, Matt, you would have loved. I wish I could send you some of the cookies I made the other day. So I made cookies for my family, right? Um, I made them on Sunday, and by yesterday, they were all gone. By yesterday night. Did you do it? You know I did it. Another hot take. I'm a conservative and I'm over Ben Shapiro. I've been listening for 10 years and I'm done. What can I ask what it is that did it? Because, I mean, as a leftist, I've always found him to be one of the least sufferable, like one of the most insufferable fucking conservative commentators. If I wanted to know what the right had to think about a thing, Steven Crowder was always my thing until it came out that he's kind of a wife abuser. And then I was like, okay, well, fuck him. I can't even watch him ironically now because all I can think about is him being like a fucking tweaky little faggot to his wife, and I just want to beat his ass. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I'm kidding. That was a joke. I don't mean that. It was a fucking, this is satire. It was a joke. Threats of violence are never okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. All right. I would never. I would never. Yeah, being mean to your pregnant wife is one of the lowest things you could do. I know. It's literally like the scumbag thing to do. I was just like, all right, well, you're a reprehensible scumfuck to an even higher degree than I previously thought. For the longest time, I just looked at him as the one conservative willing to cross-dress for the bit, which I thought was honestly kind of respectable and funny. But now I just look at him as the conservative that probably beat his wife. His complete elitism. I can't listen to Ben being condescending to struggling young families like mine. I am so glad that other working people see that too. That is what I always found most insufferable about Ben Shapiro. And probably one of the things that I liked about Crowder was the fact that at least Crowder came from an ostensibly like lower middle class family, or at least he gave off that vibe. And a lot of people like Theo Vaughn does not give off the vibe of somebody who's like was raised in immense wealth. I don't know if he was or not, but he doesn't give off the vibe of someone who was. But you cannot escape it with Ben. He is just relentlessly elitist, and he is one of those people who really does think that the only reason you ain't got oodles of money like he does is because you didn't make the right decisions out of college. Never mind the fact that you might not have even gotten the chance to go to college. You might have grown up in a rural area where there were no colleges in your area and you were incentivized to go to a different direction. You might have been raised by parents who completely disincentivized college and made it seem like it was a complete waste of time. You may have recognized yourself that it was not the best career choice for you and you went into the trades or something like that. There's a million fucking different directions someone could go. And the vast majority of them lead to a person making lower class or middle class wages, living in a modest house, and not really having that much goddamn money. And that is not an accident. It's because of people like Ben Shapiro. And that's why he's so elitist. He's defending a system from which he benefits immensely. That's not to say you have to change every fucking position you have, but yeah, I mean, like, and by the way, I'm not saying that people's effort has no correlation with the amount of success they get. Yeah, like if you're just a lazy fuck and you don't ever do anything, then yeah, no wonder you're fucking broke, right? But in my mind, if you hustle, you should be able to get somewhere. There are hundreds of millions of people in America that are hustling and functionally getting nowhere. Ben says corporate ownership of single-family housing is somehow good. I found my right-wing limit. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck. Yeah, that's a fucking. Oh, man, that's. Alright, I gotta take my glasses off for that one. Oh. Alright, guys. So, you know how you've heard about feudalism, right? Well, I've got this brilliant idea, everybody. How about we do feudalism, but like, instead of, castles, what if we just had really big banks? And what if instead of like medieval tenement buildings or whatever, what if they were single family houses? And if instead of lords, we called ourselves CEOs. I think that this would be a really brilliant way to organize the American economy. What a retard. What a fucking colossal retard. Well, no, he's not a retard. He's a genius. What an evil fucking genius. Literally using his platform to sell you slavery. To sell you the idea that your house will be owned by some other person and you will own nothing and like it. What a fucking corporate zombie. Ooh, gives me douche chills, man. My dick shrinks 3 sizes when I wear my Ben Shapiro voice. Yeah, me too. Phoebe, you know that YouTuber we were just talking about on Discord? 100% that. Yeah. Fuck. Oh, yeah. New hot take. Trump just condemned corporate ownership of single-family housing. What's your response to that? Well, you're probably not going to like it much. I like it, but I think it's kind of tokenistic. I think it's good, but like, was it going to have much of an effect? I don't know. I guess it remains to be seen there, but I have a hard time complaining about it, really. I'm not jumping for joy, merely because I don't think that it's enough. Really, like, corporate ownership of housing in general, in my opinion, is the problem. I think that if you look at the numbers, corporations own way more apartments and duplexes than they do single-family homes, which makes sense. It's a more efficient investment, right? That said, they do want to own more, and I think it's good to get in the way of that early, which makes me reticent to talk any shit on it, really. It's like, yeah, it wasn't like every fucking single family house in America was being bought up by private equity, but it's good to get in on it before they do start doing that. Right now, ironically, a lot of those houses are not held by they're not held by private equity firms or anything like that. A lot of these houses are held by banks, and the banks themselves that own these different homes are the ones using them as basically as market instruments, essentially. What's up, Joy? I don't give a shit what the Democratic Party did or did not do. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a market socialist. The Democrats can live, die, grow mushrooms up their butt crack. Doesn't make any difference to me. Good on them. Hope they're pretty. All the same to me, dog. All the same to me. I'm looking for something new. I don't know about you. I'm sick of this Democrat-Republican horseshit. I'm sick of this fucking cowardly back and forth that we're doing. Afraid to take any real leaps. I just echoed a sentiment of one Nicholas J. Fuentes. And I think it's interesting and maybe an example of horseshoe theory, right? Because I would consider myself about as extreme left as Fuentes is right, And I too want our government to do some really bold, transformative shit in the course of a presidential term or two. It's just that, I want those changes to be egalitarian and wholesome in nature, and he would want those changes to be oppressive in nature. I do need to debate this fuck. Be like, all right, Nick, you hate liberals, you want transformative change, you don't like Trump. I can converse. I can fix you. Let me fix you. Jesus is here right now. We laughing at y'all. Hell yeah. Socialism to cover the need and capitalism to cover the wants. That's how I want it. That's basically what market socialism is. And I don't think I want it that way forever. I think eventually I want wants to be as accessible as anything. But yeah, for now, get people used to the idea of covering each other's needs, and they will acquiesce naturally and evolve very naturally towards the point of providing everything for one another's wants. Does that make sense? Some socialist doctrine for the most needy of the population is good, but the most productive and morally sound citizen should be allowed to make strides in the market. In the short term, sure. In the short term. No, I don't know. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I do like the idea of rewarding productivity, and that's not because I fetishize productivity. It's not because it's the only thing I value. I think that, in fact, just a result of capitalism being such a dominant system and having its greedy little claws sunk deep into all the inner reaches of our philosophical minds. I don't value productivity necessarily more than I value creativity or or even idleness necessarily in a vacuum. But when I think about it, there is a part of me that does value productivity on some level. Like, okay, let me give you some examples, right? I have known a couple of people in my life, and just a couple, that I don't know how the fuck they managed to float through life. I straight up do not know. Unless they're just okay with being scumfucks. I don't get it. People there was this I'll just use one of them as an example, okay? Lived with me and an ex of mine that is like also probably, I don't know, like the friend I've had for the longest time. We all lived together in this house, and there was this dude that lived there with us for like 4 months. No, it was way longer than that. It was like a year or some shit, almost. Some absurd amount of time, like 9 months, 8 months, I don't know, 6 months maybe. And he never once cleaned his room. After he moved his furniture into his room, he never once ever cleaned it. I would have to go on hunting expeditions for this man's plates and cups, his forks and spoons, because this man would literally bring all that shit into his room. Instead of eating at the table or eating in the living room like a civilized human being, or at least bringing it back in the fucking kitchen like a civilized human being, he would stash them in unscrupulous places.
Can somebody ban Butcher's Lambo out of here? I don't care to listen to their self-important drivel. I just want them to know that they're not getting banned by one of my mods, that they're getting banned by me, but that they're not good enough for the finger of God, so they're going to get one of her right-hand people. Thank you, Posty. I appreciate that. My wife and I break our backs to keep our house clean with our 4, 2, and 1-year-old. Well, yeah, you have to. I mean, like, that's the thing, dude. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you for getting me back on topic. Yeah, so he would never fucking clean his room. He also didn't work. It would be one thing, right? It'd be one thing if the dude was like working 12 hours a day, coming home, partying for fucking 3 hours, taking a shower and going to bed. Whatever, man. Not a great way to live your 20s out, but hey, that's how you want to do it. Who am I to judge? It was not that. Motherfucker had no job. Near as I could tell, motherfucker had never worked. If he did, I have no fucking clue how, where, or what that concerned, or anything of the type. Near as I could tell, dude made every bit of money that he made getting like quarter pounds of weed fronted to him. He was basically like a drug dealer for a living, as near as I could tell. Like, that's the only thing I can think. Like, it's the only way he was able to get fast food. I cannot conceive of another way that he could have been able to pay for the shit that he was able to pay for. Not that he was like rolling in the dough, but the fact that he was able to fucking have anything in his room besides the barest of bones shit. Like, we were not buying big fucking packs of Solo cups. No, those were coming out of his own fucking. And dude, and you know what's another weird thing about living with that dude too? This lazy motherfucker was unwilling to exert effort in any fucking way other than exerting effort in furtherance of fun. Dude, if it was to have fun and not be judged or whatever, or condescended to, or anything like that, dude, oh man, he would go through tremendous efforts because it just occurred to me, I never once saw that motherfucker bring a goddamn grocery one into his room. But I'll be goddamned if there weren't bottles of soft drinks in there. I'll be goddamned if there weren't all kinds of fucking food and shit in there. If he wasn't popping shit into the microwave sometimes. Motherfucker. Anyway, that dude is the person who taught me, like, why productivity can be a virtue. And so I think it is kind of understandable to want to incentivize some level of productivity, because I feel like if you are too permissive with people, then you end up with we'll call him Anakin. You end up with an Anakin that doesn't clean his room, doesn't work at all, or do really like anything. I don't know. I guess selling weed is a job, but I feel like it's less of a job when you're doing it on the street. You can do things to legitimize it further, but he didn't. Like, if you're one of those people that knows what strains you got on offer, and you've got like exacting weights and a wide like product line or whatever, then okay, all right, you're a drug dealer as a job. But if you're just like making your ends meet with it, no, you know, I don't know, man. You're just selling pot to the same 5 people that do have jobs. I don't. Would the census count that as employment? I don't know if they would.
Point is, motherfucker had ample time and ample physical ability to do something other than, I don't know, smoke blunts and fucking resupply like 10 people in a small town every so often. And I don't even know that he was the actual fucking, but that's fucking aside the point. I don't care, man. Ultimately, I'm not moralizing about someone that wants to sell drugs. Ultimately, I'm moralizing about somebody that wants to be completely idle or as close to it as humanly possible 24/7, to the point where they don't clean their room, they don't work to keep the rest of the house they live in clean, they don't work a regular job at all, and they don't really put in any effort to the thing that they do to make their money. Sounds like a horrible roommate. Yeah, well, luckily I didn't share a bedroom with him, but yeah. Awful housemate for sure. Did I mention he didn't really pay rent? Oh. I have mood swings, so I'm either very clean and tidy or a miserable, tired slob or a hyperactive slob. I could tolerate that. That's fine. I mean, that's chill. I don't want everybody to be perfect 100% of the time. That's stupid, you know? I don't even want people to be perfect 50% of the time. I just want to incentivize better behavior out of the mass of society. To be real, I deal with alcohol and weed addictions, dependencies. That shit holds me back. I deal with that issue of being idle all the time. It's such a lure to just sit here on my phone when I should be doing other shit. Yeah, but you probably have like a job, you know? You were saying earlier you have to do quite a bit to like keep your house clean and everything with your kids going on. That is fucking different, right? Like, it's not a bad thing to be idle. It's a bad thing to be addicted to idleness, I guess. Here's how I look at it, right? Having fun is awesome and really wonderful. And if you structure your life right, maybe your life can be nothing but fun. But if that fun isn't in some way productive or conducive to moving your life forward in some way, then like if you have too much of that, like if the ratio is too off, right? Eventually you're going to have deleterious effects in your life. You have less opportunities, less abilities. I don't know. I'm getting tired, so I'm just kind of starting to talk shit. Kind of sounds like someone I lived with once. Maybe we lived with the same person. I deal with that issue of being idle all the time. It's such a lure to sit here on my phone. Oh yeah. Well, I tell you what has been helping with weed dependency for me. Number one is like there are all kinds of things that you just naturally do before you smoke in the morning. Just keep adding stuff to that list, and you will be shocked at how long you make it without smoking. Like a lot of people, you know, like you use the bathroom, maybe you get a cup of coffee, and then you're gonna go smoke, right? Well, maybe make it, you know, go use the bathroom, get a cup of coffee, and then turn on the news and Watch it for a minute, Just sipping your coffee, just thinking about it, right? And then maybe the next day, you wake up, use the bathroom, make your coffee, watch the news, and then maybe you fold the laundry in the basket real quick and put that away. And there you go. Now you spent an hour and a half of your morning just waking up weed free. And you work your way down, and eventually you're down to 3 smokes a day. You spend like an hour and a half kind of like starting to wake up, and then you do that, your wake and bake bowl after you've kind of gotten already woken up for the most part. And that gives you that motivating jolt to get you from 9 to 5 or whatever, depending on what your schedule is for that day. I'm craving Arby's. Oh, I've been sick for a while, so I can't really smell or taste much of anything, but I am craving all kinds of food specifically because of that. Because I can't smell or taste hardly anything, it's making me want so badly to be I want to eat something that tastes like something. Because like right now, all my brain can do is detect umami, salt, sweet, bitter. It's not good. I like that Japanese idea. I forget the word, but it's where your productive behavior matches your passion and you think work is fun. That is a hard state to reach. Yeah, I wish that Japanese word was more well known, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. That is the way that you can structure your life so that every waking moment is fun, right? And I'm glad that me trying to say that translated, despite the fact that my stoned ass is kind of like struggling through it. Ultimately, I feel like that's the direction I'm headed, right? I do this for a living, more or less. Well, not more or less. I do this for a living. It's just how I make all my money. It's just that's how it is, right? This like YouTube shit is it for me. I live on the behest of you guys, right? And if I keep going down this path and I keep getting more popular, that's only going to become more true. And at that point, I would have a pretty good synchronicity and pretty good synergy between what I want to be doing, what I think of myself as capable of doing, and what I'm actually doing. I'm going to submit my paid family leave claim that I've been meaning to do. Yeah, there you go. Get that done. Take you some leave. Woo! Sleepy. Hope you get better soon. Thank you, Paper. Yeah, Paper is always so kind. Maybe save your wake and bakes for a Sunday morning treat. That's another good way you can limit your use. Yeah, for sure. I mean, some people really do need, like, I'm the kind of person that, like, I'll manage if I don't have it, but man, am I a basket case, And before I had weed to help me regulate my mood, I always was. Like, goddamn. I used to get in so many fights back in fucking school, and that didn't really stop till midway through high school. And even after that point, I was always just so angsty and prone to giant mood swings and outbursts and stuff like that. And cannabis pretty much prevents that instinct in me at all. It's such an effective mood regulator. So for me, if I've got it, I'm going to smoke once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and maybe 2 or 3 times that night. because that morning smoke that I get is usually enough to keep at bay for at least 3 or 4 hours any kind of unprompted bitchiness. Go to bed. We'll see you again soon. I do need to go to bed here, so. Oh, God. I'm eepy sleepy. I'm eepy sleepy. Let's see. I know it's not good to eat right before you go to bed, but I'm kind of hungry. I usually only eat like once. I'm not doing it on purpose, but I kind of feel like I'm inadvertently intermittent fasting because I pretty much only eat between the hours of like 6 p.m. and 2 a.m. Which is not, that's too big a window. So it doesn't count. See, I'm smart. I know shit. But yeah, I only eat at night. I don't eat in the daytime. So if I wake up at 9 in the morning, fuck it. I might have like a couple of cookies or something like that, but I don't, I'm just not like fucking, I'm not a breakfast girl. Not usually. I guess if it's there. You forget to eat, could never be me. I'll see ya. I gotta be 2 hours away in Santa Barbara at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Have a good night. Well, I'm gonna go too, you guys. I'm sleepy as shit. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, as always. Y'all are fucking great. It's been fun. Yeah. Donate through the links below. Hang out on the channel. Do all the normal things. And I will see you guys around some other time.